Let's talk Amazon for just a moment. Maybe kind of a random topic. I get it. But if you look at what Amazon is doing with the amount of money that they're paying people, it is bonkers. Now, okay, it was pretty recently, I want to say last fall, that they took the warehouse workers and bumped them up. They were at like $15 an hour, and they bumped them up to $18 or something. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And now they're more than doubling its maximum base salary to $350,000 to retain some of their top talent. That's a lot
bold.
of money. That's a bold move.
Mm-hmm.
On the line with us now is an expert on Amazon. You can find Stephen Pope at myamazonguy.com. Stephen, welcome to KFGO Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
I mean, maybe this is just what all companies are doing. I mean, you see that the trend happening everywhere. People leaving their jobs, finding new jobs, looking for new money. But is there a company that's just poaching from Amazon? Is that what's happening?
It's exasperated in the Amazon community more so than any other. So I run an agency. I got 175 employees. It's really hard to find talent anywhere with Amazon expertise. Amazon as a company by itself, they work their employees into the ground, right? You see all the press all the time about how, put off people are in the warehouse, or like, hey, they had to piss in a bottle, or, just weird stuff like that you see all the time. Well, it's just like that all the way up the corporate track. And so people now have a lot more options with the remote culture and everything else going on. So yes, there are a lot of companies poaching from Amazon, but just the space itself, you can't go to college and get an Amazon degree, right? So all the people that work in this field are doing something that isn't trainable, and so everybody has to pay a tax, whether you're working on the corporate side behind the scenes, behind Amazon's corporate desk, or whether you're an Amazon seller trying to sell on the platform. You have to pay your tax. And so there's just a lot of competing workforce right now. One of the really big things that also happen is there's these things called Amazon aggregators. $13 billion in venture capital entered the space just in the last couple of years. Like big companies like Thrasio, a couple of billion there, Heyday, Boosted, many, many others. And they are poaching Amazon executives left and right. So there is somebody that is poaching, but I wouldn't say that's like the primary reason Amazon's drawing up the salary. I would just say it's a contributing factor.
So if you are applying for a job somewhere else, having an Amazon management position on there is good as gold, because it's like speaking a language that suddenly the entire world is using.
That is correct. However, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're more skilled labor. It's perceived, not necessarily factual. So, but those Amazon aggregators, for example, are picking up the talent at Amazon because it's an easy thing to spin to their investors. And what these Amazon aggregators are is a conglomerate of brand buying power. So they go around and they buy Amazon sellers' brands. We're talking 30, 40, 50 brands at a time. These are Amazon-born brands, so they don't exist in the retail space. They're like only Amazon selling brands. So if you look up items you buy on Amazon today, most of those items are produced from mom-and-pop sellers that have their own Amazon brand, et cetera. And so since there's not a lot of good places to put money right now, they realized that the space was super undervalued, and so they came in and started building out this empire and buying up all these brands. And as a result, what happens? So more money enters the space. They're creating a bunch of jobs. It puts pressure on the amount of jobs and experts that are available. So crazy fun factoid, 15% of my payroll are interns. And we're hiring interns like crazy because there's just no place to pick up people that have the Amazon experience.
Are they just too big?
I don't think Amazon's too big, no. There's nobody that can compete with Amazon anytime soon, right? So they have a really proven model. They were first to market with vertical control with warehousing, 2-day prime. and then it was 1 day Prime, and if 1 day wasn't fast enough, now it's 2 hours, right? Like, so like you can get anything you want super fast in most of the metro areas. So I don't think Amazon is too big per se. I think that there's the talent pool at Amazon is just well ahead of the curve, and they're highly in demand. And so Amazon had to make a lot of changes in the last year to try and retain talent. And most of those changes are insufficient, which is why they're so big, right? Going from, you know, a base salary of like $160,000 maximum to $350,000. And in addition to that, there's all kinds of bonus packages that they were paying out on top of that. So it's a very competitive labor market. And Amazon works their employees very, very harshly and hard. And so these employees now have a lot of other options. Most of the workforce is now saying, hey, you can be remote permanently. And so why go to, you know, commute an hour into work and bust, you know, do everything you can as harshly as the environment is? Why not go look for somewhere else where you get a little bit more compensation and a little bit more satisfaction without having to work as hard?
Stephen Pope is with us, an expert on Amazon, myamazonguy.com. Okay, Stephen, let me ask you this. So at the beginning of this conversation, you said, well, they don't have a degree in Amazon. Do you think that's something we will see? I mean, will academia, like, catch up and start offering a class, maybe not directly on Amazon, but in online commerce to try and get this, you know, to get their taste for it?
We've seen a few e-commerce degrees pop up in a few colleges here and there. Even those programs are insufficient because here's the bottom line question. Who's going to teach it? These skills that are required, like nobody understands how complicated loading a catalog to Amazon is to merchandise the products. It is immensely complicated. And so now you've got, and there's a lot of like economic exasperation of the competition of the landscape. So if you're an Amazon seller, you have to compete against the Chinese who are going direct to consumer for the first time. You have to compete against these Amazon aggregators that are increasing the competition. So they come and swoop in, buy the brands, and then make them better and spend more money on advertising. Like advertising costs went up 35% last year on the Amazon platform. And then Amazon's making it harder for everybody because they're entering the maturity phase as a platform. So like the barrier to entry has gone up. And so a lot of all these factors make it very, very complex, which is why we're seeing so many changes. But I don't think that any college degree anytime soon is going to deliver that tax that I talked about, that pay your tax, learn it, anytime soon, like not in the next decade. And so I think personally there's about 50,000 jobs that are short in the Amazon space. We're talking Amazon corporate, Amazon sellers, all of it combined. More than 50,000 jobs need to be filled. And so we're going to have to pull them in from other sectors because there's just no way to find the talent right now.
And, I mean, clearly Amazon has decided we're going to put our money where our jobs are. They're increasing this base salary. Do you think it's just money, or do you think that there is a perceived view of working at Amazon? I mean, like you said, they work you to the bone. They work you to death. I know right now I wouldn't be applying for an Amazon job anytime soon. Do you think that money is the only thing that's going to get people in there, or do you think that there are higher goals? I'm going to put my time in at Amazon, and then I plan on moving after 3 years.
So Amazon got rid of its pay-to-quit program. Every year they would fire 10% of their staff, and you could even, you know, volunteer for that, and they would pay you out. And they got rid of that program too. There's so much shortage for talent in the space, and in terms of money, that is like the number one string that they have to pull, right? But just as one example, we don't specifically poach Amazon employees, but we did recently hire one who came to us, and they were working in the customer service department. They'd worked there for 4 or 5 years. And so I was, you know, chatting to her about this with all the news that's going on in the Amazon space. And I said, so why did you leave Amazon? And she said, it is just such a toxic culture with so much expected of you. But the reason that people stay is the compensation packages are just out of this world, right? They have amazing health benefits, fully covered for your family. They have high pay. But in return, you might have to put in 60 or 70 hours in the week. And do a lot in return for that.
It seems to me that Amazon is currently dealing with an issue that is going to be uniquely theirs.
And
I mean, it could be, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It could be uniquely theirs in the sense that if there wasn't another available option out there, people would be signing up for this in droves. And so that's what historically had happened. They were first to market. But, like, nobody's going to catch up to Amazon anytime soon. Like, I thought Walmart might, but then they bought Jet and they couldn't integrate the tech.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know about you guys. Have you guys ever gone to, like, the Walmart grocery pickup?
I haven't. No, I've never done it.
It's a terrible experience, like absolute garbage experience. You show up, you have to wait 20 or 30 minutes sometimes. You're lucky if you connect with the person that's going to, like, come out of the Walmart and put your groceries in your car. Now, Target, on the other hand.
I love Target.
You go to Target. So you done the Target pickup?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was doing it pre-pandemic. Like, I was doing it before other people were, and I loved it. And I think that even since the pandemic hit, they've made it so much exceptionally better.
So Target's nowhere even close to competing with Amazon, warehousing, people, logistics, process, or otherwise. But their strategy, however, I'm very impressed with. And so, like, I think Target's a sleeper. I think if anybody's going to hit Amazon, it's probably going to be Target because Walmart is never going to go from good to great as a company. But I think Target might be a great company that might pull it off. Interesting.
That's some good perspective. We'll be in touch. Maybe we'll be talking about that in the future. Stephen Pope, expert on Amazon, here with us on KFGO. You can find him at myamazonguy.com. Stephen, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.